Hey guys, Rick Stone here from the blog Our Stoney Acres and the online gardening school. Welcome to 5 Minute Fridays, my video series where I try and give you a valuable gardening related tip in 5 minutes or less. Before we get started this week, please make sure that you like my Stoney Acres Facebook page if you're watching this video on Facebook, or if you're watching on YouTube, please make sure that you subscribe to my YouTube channel. All right, so as you can see, we're not out in the garden this week. Trying something a little bit different, and the reason why is because it's raining like crazy outside today, and I didn't feel like getting wet filming you guys a garden video. So I apologize, but we're gonna try something inside today. So it is September, and we're just squeaking up on the first week of fall. We're about 2 or 3 weeks away from our first fall frost, and our raspberry plants have decided that it's time for them to sprint to the end and really produce a lot of raspberries. And freezing has been the best method that we have found to preserve some raspberries for the winter months. And so I just wanted to really quick go through our quick 3-step process for freezing and preserving raspberries for the winter. So step number 1, of course, is that you need to clean your berries off. And so we're not big germaphobes. We're okay. You can't really scrub raspberries anyways, and so we just rinse our raspberries off like this in a colander and run the water over them really good and make sure that we get all the dirt off. And then step number 2 is that you need to then take those wet raspberries and spread them out on a nice fluffy kitchen towel. And the reason why you spread them out on a towel is you want that excess water that's on the berries to have a chance to drip off and absorb into the towel and not stay on the berries, because we don't want any extra water on those berries if we can avoid it. And so let them sit on that towel for maybe 10 minutes. Give them a chance to dry out just a little bit. The other thing that's nice about spreading them out on the towel is it gives you a chance to kind of go through the berries and throw out any bad ones, eat the best ones yourself, and then make sure you don't have any leaves or twigs or bugs or anything like that have survived the washing process and are there. You don't want those to go into the freezer. So just spread them out, let them sit for a few minutes. And then we never put our raspberries directly into a bag or a jar to freeze. The first thing we do is we freeze our raspberries flat, okay? So this is a batch that we put in a little bit earlier so that I would have a demonstration batch for you. Is what you want to do is you want to spread these berries out evenly across the pan in one layer deep. So you don't want them stacked on top of each other. You want them to have plenty of space so that they freeze flat, and so that when you actually take them off of the pan, they come out with individual raspberries. Or even if they do freeze together a little bit, they're small chunks that are easy to break up. And the reason why is because you don't want to put in a bag like this, you don't want to put a whole bunch of thawed raspberries and then freeze them all in this bag, because what's going to happen, you're going to have a giant 1-gallon bag of raspberry ice, right? And it's going to be impossible to work with. You're only going to be able to use the whole bag at once, and so you want to be able to do this, because then it's super nice. You can just open up the bag, take out a handful, use whatever you need, and then put the bag back in the freezer. And so always freeze your raspberries flat first, then put them in whatever it is you're going to store them in. Now, we store ours in these plastic bags. These are a BPA-free plastic bag that we have found, and we like to use the BPA-free bags. If you're not big on plastic, you could store them in some type of a cloth bag or even a mason jar. But again, remember, freeze them flat first so that you don't have a giant hunk of raspberries frozen in your freezer. Instead, you want them to be nice and even and broken up so that they're easy to use. Okay, so that's it. Simple process. When you freeze those flat, you probably only need to put them in the freezer for maybe 2 or 3 hours. We usually leave them overnight, but 2 or 3 hours is probably enough. This batch is already frozen and they've only been in there for a couple of hours. So if you want to just go ahead and leave them in for a few hours, then put them into your bag or your jar, whatever you're going to use, and they should last in the freezer for 6, 8, maybe even 10 months. By the time the year rolls around, they're going to be pretty rough in the freezer. But by the time 6 or 8 months are up, you're probably already starting into the berry season again with some of your early strawberries and things like that. So it's just perfect. And we love them. We use them for cereals. We use them in our oatmeal. We'll put them in yogurt. The other thing that we like to do is maybe take a cup of them and put them in a pan, warm them up, and you kind of almost bring them to a boil. and that kind of pulls all the juices out and kind of makes this yummy raspberry syrup that we then use to put on our pancakes or our waffles or things like that. So great uses for them. Fun and easy method to preserve your raspberries. So hope you enjoyed that this week. That's all I've got for you. Sorry we couldn't be outside this week, but it was raining and just didn't want to get wet. So we'll try this week and see how it goes. If you guys have any questions or comments, please leave them in the comment section, and then also make sure to subscribe to my YouTube channel or like my Stoney Acres Facebook page, depending on where you're watching the video. Also, in the resources, I added a few posts that are there to help you with growing raspberries. And then also in the comment section is this week's discount coupon for the Year-Round Gardening School, which is half off our tomato growing course. And that course is normally $20, and for this week only, it's $10. So make sure you check that out. All right, that's all I have for this week. Hopefully next week we can be back out in the garden and take advantage of the fall weather while it's still around. Everybody have a great week and happy gardening.